Hi, it's Nicole McWork with the December class lesson for scrapbook stamping brought to you by 2peasinabucket.com. This month's lesson is on creating your own stamped pattern paper. And this is kind of similar to the month where we talked about backgrounds, but I really wanted to concentrate on the pattern paper aspect for this month. And I also created this sketch to go along with this month's class. Now, for the pattern paper, what I really find the most useful, I guess, about this technique is that you can create a pattern paper that matches anything that you want to scrapbook. So even though there are lots and lots of snowflake themed pattern papers out there, I wanted to create something that specifically matched my photos. And you can do this for your photos as well with anything. You could use stars and hearts and graphic other kinds of designs, circles and all kinds of things, words. You could create literally any kind of pattern paper that you want with this technique. So I'm going to show you how I did this with snowflake stamps from Hero Arts. And what I did was I started in the lower left corner of my 12 by 12 sheet of craft cardstock, and I'm going to kind of speed through it because I do stamp the entire thing pretty much while I am videotaping this. And I just opened up 4 different ink colors. I've got brown sugar and speckled egg and chewing gum from Jenny Bolin. And then I have the Color Box Frost White ink. So I've got 4 ink colors here, and I'm just alternating stamping snowflake designs from the Hero Arts Snowflakes stamp set on my craft cardstock. And you can see how stamping these colors on craft as opposed to white gives them a bit different look, which is what I'm going for. In fact, as the ink dries, you will see that I think that that my pattern paper resembles things like the Jelly Bean Soup craft lines of paper or things like that. So you can create your own. I do keep a little square, I folded up baby wipe next to me so that I can easily wipe off my ink between each stamping, so that I can change ink colors for my stamps. And I have several acrylic blocks already loaded up with my stamps. Just a little close up there as I go along. And I'm just working my way out. I find it's easier to work from one corner out. That way you don't ever run into a situation where you have a spot too small for any of the stamps that you have. One of the great things about this Hero Arts stamp set is that they have an assortment of sizes and designs of snowflake stamps, so that these little teeny tiny ones can fill in any of those little gaps that I might have. But you can see I'm just kind of working my way out. Alternating my colors. I'm not really being specific about anything. If I don't get the stamp completely all like a really great clean impression, I mean, I'm doing my best, but every once in a while I was kind of in a hurry and I didn't get the best stamped impression. Like that blue one I see over there is a good example of that blue circle snowflake. It doesn't matter. I'm going to be distressing this paper as well, and that really kind of covers up any of those little imperfections. You don't really notice it. And besides, I will be adding my photos and additional embellishments and pattern papers and things as I put my page together. So I'm going to continue on here. I love how these Jenny Bolin inks react with the craft cardstock. They really look great on here. And they do soften. You can see when I first stamp these snowflakes on the craft cardstock, they look really bright. It's because the ink is still pretty wet. As it absorbs into the paper and dries, it kind of fades out and gives you that really nice muted look. Working my way out. As I got further along, I would stamp several impressions of the same stamp. I just kind of worked my way down the edge of the page. so that I didn't have to switch colors quite as often. I'm using a new video camera today as well, which I think gives a much clearer image. I hope that it shows that on the finished video. Okay, this is the Dewy Studio Calico Mr. Huey Mist, and I just have my work surface protected, and I'm spraying from pretty far up. I'm holding my arm pretty high. I have my page in a cardboard box, and I'm just spritzing it because I want those little glops of color to get on my background. I'm also using the Cameo Mr. Huey Mist. So I've got the aqua and a pink, and then of course the white. So my white is getting a little bit empty. I use it an awful lot, so I'm just spraying it from pretty far away. You can see the mist kind of go out then, and you can see that nice distressed look that I'm going to end up with. So once I have misted that, all that I feel like it needs, I'm going to set that aside to dry. It doesn't take very long, but I really like the results when it air dries as opposed to heating it up with a heating tool. You can do that if you want to, and I have done it in the past, but I think it gives a much nicer look when I let it air dry. Okay, I've cut this 4 by 12 inch strip from a My Mind's Eye lime twist paper, and I'm just going to punch a circle from using a 2.5 inch circle punch in the bottom of my page so that some of my snowflakes will peek through here on the bottom. And what I like to do, it would be cute left like this, but I really like when it kind of has a little frame to those little window circles. So I'm just taking a scrap of white cardstock and I'm going to punch a 2.25 inch circle, or part of a circle, from the edge of that. And I'm just going to grab a paper trimmer and trim just a little section of this. Because I don't have white paper layered underneath my pattern, that pink pattern paper on the bottom of my layout, I need to just kind of tuck that under there. There's really no need to create or to use a whole strip of white cardstock. So this is just a little cheat. So there you can see what it'll look like framed in. And that really draws your eye to that snowflake background. Then I have a little sticker here, which I end up moving around quite a bit because I couldn't quite figure out where I wanted it. And I moved it up and to the right just a little because I'm going to take some chipboard letter stickers and create my title around that punched out circle. So there you can see my American Crafts stickers that say "We Love Snow." Next, I added a little adhesive. I've cut a couple more strips of pattern paper. I just added some adhesive right to my pattern paper, and I'm going to layer on some of this ribbon. Now I chose a kind of cream vintagey type textured ribbon or colored ribbon as opposed to white because I'm using craft cardstock and my pattern papers have some distressing. I distressed my own stamped pattern background. I really thought that the cream looked nicer than the white. I tried both, but I really liked it better. I already have stamped my background, which is this month's lesson, but I also want to share how you can create stamped accents that match the theme of your page. I always like to try to get as much stamping and get as much use out of my stamps as possible. And these are some snowflake shapes stamps from Hero Arts, and it comes in a set of 4, and they are different shapes of stamps that have snowflakes in them. And I'm going to use the hearts, and I stamped them with those same Jenny Bolin inks on some smooth white cardstock. But I'm going to take this clay Studio Calico Mr. Huey Mist and just distress my hearts a little bit. This is a really nice light color that adds a great distressing without being an overwhelming, overpowering color. And then I also took the Studio Calico Shine Mr. Huey to make them kind of have a shiny, glittery finish. And then I'm going to cut all of these hearts out really quick to use as a border on my page. And then I'm using some foam adhesive to attach all of my hearts along my border here. I did sew all of my trims in place using my sewing machine. I was really kind of careful with what adhesive I used so I didn't gum up my machine. So I just kind of used a lighter adhesive where I sewed those in place, but I sewed a little rickrack trim at the top and then those two trims there in the middle. I sewed some buttons onto some of the hearts, not all of them. I thought all of them might be a little bit overkill, so I just did some of them and added a little Bella Boulevard sticker that said winter to one of them. Just gonna get those to fit there. I have a pop dot that's in the way, so move it a little bit, secure that. And you can see how the stamped border just adds to the theme of the page and helps bring everything together. Thank you for watching this year's scrapbook stamping here at Two Peas in a Bucket. I hope you have enjoyed all of the class lessons, and be sure to stay tuned next year. I'm sure there's going to be lots of wonderful classes available at Two Peas in a Bucket. Thanks for watching.